Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the third installment of Being the Light. Hopefully, we did first show Permission to Suck, doing it big, getting it wrong, learning from it, coming back. Last week we did a little bit better job, I hope, and hopefully this week, and with the help of my esteemed guest, um, we'll knock it out of the park. So let us know what you think, and really thanks for coming and showing up. Hey, Leah, what's up? Rick, how you doing? Chili. Yeah, the guys. Yeah, we're gonna have a really fun night tonight. It is the six magic words that will always get your message put across. And we're going to talk about communication. We're going to talk about listening and some other little goodies. And I have a great guest tonight. Her name's Karleen Love, and she is an old friend and cohort in crime. And we met many, many, many years ago. She's an amazing energy worker, psychic energy master, and we're going to have a really fun conversation tonight. So I look forward to bringing her on in a few minutes. Before we get started, I have some cool news. We have our first sponsor. Yay! And that is Fried Okra Films. And Ernie Mosteller, who runs the company, is an amazing documentary director, commercial director, photographer, artist, jack of all trades, and an amazing creative person. We'll load up his website down below. Please give him a scope. And dude, many, many thanks for supporting the dream and helping us get some things going to make it be really good. So thank you very much. And we'll be mentioning your sorry but many, many times over the next year. So thanks again, and hope you enjoy the show. Let's see. Tonight, the spring equinox. Being the light is all about energy and making the most of your energy and keeping it as bright as you can in all these different ergonomic ways. And, tonight's a night to really take advantage of, because for me, the most important holidays of the year are the two solstices and the two equinoxes, because they actually affect the energy in the world. And because the days are balanced, because it's a 50-50 chunk of night and day, there's a balance in the world that you can take advantage of, and an energy of balance at that. Just like with the solstices, the winter and the summer, you can take advantage of like the longest day, all of that sunlight, and that has an energetic use that you can take advantage of, just like the shortest day of the year and the most night. So today is all about balance, and it's all about the spring equinox too, which is it's a day of balance. It's that moment right in the center of everything where the potential begins to manifest itself. And the potential for this is new life and new growth and regeneration and a new outlook. And I would just love for you to celebrate this day and just be aware of that energy. And if you have any desires and deep hopes, any passions that haven't been realized yet, send it out today, because it's the perfect opportunity for that seed to grow. And yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to introduce Karleen Love. I met Karleen about 10 years ago, maybe more now. And she was a card reader and had a podcast and was connected to a bunch of different psychic network kinds of scenarios. And she actually sought out my cards and we connected, and it took a while to get a reprint, and wound up having a hurricane blow my whole world away, and but eventually I got her a deck of cards, and I will never forget the email I got from her that day going, "Oh my God, these are alive." And we just struck up a really great friendship, and we've done a bunch of things over the years. We've given a series of telekinetic energy courses that were just super fun and crazy effective. I'm still in touch with a number of those people. And she has an amazing podcast, and I'll let her tell you about that. And she's just a really good friend, a beautiful, beautiful, radiant soul, and I'm happy to have her. So without further ado, let me introduce Karleen Love.
Hi, everybody. Brian, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. What a beautiful introduction.
Well, I meant every word of it. I really,
having me on.
we've been connected for a long time, and I
Mhm.
have a very special place in my heart for you.
Oh, ditto.
So the last time we spoke, you were in Mexico.
Yeah,
Where are you now?
Germany.
Germany. Wow, back to full circle.
Full circle. I was waiting for that reaction. Full circle. Yeah.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Are,
Full
are you
circle.
there alone, or have you reconnected to some of your German friends?
Yeah, I've reconnected to a couple people, and other people I've left alone, But I've reconnected to some people, yeah.
Well, fill me in
And my
on what you're
daughter's here.
doing and what's going on in your world right now.
I'm rebuilding, totally rebuilding, because everything has to be redone now. So I have to re-register my business, reset everything up again according to these specifications. So that's what I'm dealing with right now, bureaucracy.
So is this a recent event that you just moved?
Yeah, I came back in January.
So it'll take a little while to get out of there. What prompted the move from Mexico?
Mexico's an intense country. Like, the energies there are crazy intense, especially for sensitives. And I guess that's why so many people are going there to do all these healing retreats and all these healing things, because Mexico really has that energy that it can facilitate a healing on these deep levels, on these really dark, dark, dark levels. And I think that's why I was there for 4 years. I had a lot of work to do. But now it's done, and it's time for me to get back to work. So here we
Yeah.
are.
So are you enjoying Germany? What brought you back to Germany? Why'd you decide to make
My
the trip?
daughter's here. My
Yeah.
daughter's, and I realized, because when I left Germany, because I grew up here, and I was like everybody else here, I was complaining about it. Germans love to travel for a reason, right? They're always like, I gotta get out of here. And I was the same way. I was like, never want to go back. I'm never going back there. I hate it. I want to live
That's the impression
freedom.
I had from you last time we talked.
Yeah. 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 And then when I was in Mexico, and I was like, I want to go back somewhere where I feel home. This is what came to mind. So this is where I spent my childhood. This is where I went to school. This is where I grew up, basically. And I had a couple of years in Canada, but the majority of my childhood, youth, young years was here, all added up. So yeah,
So
and
kind
my
of
daughter's here. So
the full circle spiral thing, man. You're back in the same place, but with a whole ton of learning.
yeah,
It'll be
yes,
interesting to see how
yes,
it plays out,
yes.
right?
That's
And
what Mexico taught me.
and how much you recognize the same lessons that you'll get faced with again.
Oh God, no.
Well, no, it's the choices. It's that now. You've already
Yes.
learned, and when that shows up again, you're going, we'll go this way.
Yeah. 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 The biggest thing, though, is Mexico taught me gratitude. Like, it really did. It taught me, it did totally turn my perspective on its head. And
Well, you lived in a
I'm so
courageous
grateful
place.
now for things that I took for granted before. I'm so, like, yeah. Yeah. So I'm
You
glad
lived
to be back.
you
I
lived in a
appreciate it.
crazy energy place there too, near that volcano thing. I mean, that was a pretty crazy area.
I've
Yeah.
had some crazy things happen to me in Mexico, and from what I've heard from other people, it's I'm not the only one. I,
Anything you can share?
Oof. Well, it started the first night I got there. The very first time I stepped foot on Mexico.
It's always a
And
good indication.
and a friend of mine had told me that Mexico takes its tribute, that everybody that goes there, that stays there for a longer time, or that has an intense connection to the place, they pay toll. So that toll can show up in any which way, shape, or form. So I thought, she's exaggerating, but I paid my toll the first night I got there. And I got myself into a little bit of a situation where I was duped at the airport right off the bat. I was duped at the airport, and everybody is going to say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you fell for it." Well, sorry, I fell for it.
It happens.
And got in a car that I shouldn't have gotten into, which was sold to me, and I thought, "Oh gosh, like I got a decent price on this." And so I got a driver from Cancun Airport to Merida, because this scam artist sold me this ride as a corporate. And so she promised me he spoke English. She promised me he knew where he was going. He lived there. Of course, he didn't speak English. He was probably from Guatemala or something. I don't know. And he had no clue where he was going. He's never been there. And he was driving all the back roads and not the tolled highways, which I would have paid for. But okay, I learned that's where I got to know diverse street food and stuff. But 60 kilometers outside of Merida at like 7 p.m. at night, when it was already dark, his car broke down. He ran out of gas and he blew a tire. So if one hadn't happened, the other was going to happen. It was meant to be. So, but me being the Aries hothead that I am, I do have a Pisces rising, but I'm Aries. I start yelling at him. I totally lost my mind. Totally went nuts. I'm like, what the? I would have paid for the gas. You should have told me. So he starts to like try to calm me down, which I realize in hindsight, it could have gone quite differently. But I ended up hitchhiking. Yeah.
Oh my
So that
God.
was my first night in Mexico
Welcome to
ever.
Mexico.
I ended up hitchhiking because my Airbnb lady, she said, I can't send you anybody. Like the cabs won't go out because you're 60 kilometers outside of the city. They're not going to drive out. And don't call the police because you never know what's going to happen with them. So that was that. So I had no other choice.
You survived. Thank
Yeah.
goodness.
But then other things happened in Mexico. From dog bites through, but good things happened too. A lot
I
of
was
good
going to
things.
say
I
a
met
lot of good things.
amazing people. And yeah, I'm super, it was a good time for me, but it's over now.
So tell me about the podcast you're doing and what you're up to these days.
Okay, well, my channel I've had for going on 5 years now that I've been working on it. And it's pretty eclectic. I pretty much do whatever I feel inspired to do on topics. That's what I do. So it's channeled, most of it. Either information on development, psychic development, intuitive development, helping people grow, personal development as well, or readings on contemporary situations, current events, celebrity readings every now and then if it really puts a wave in the collective psyche.
Yeah, you really mix it up pretty good. It's
Yeah,
really interesting. I
yeah,
enjoy it. Yeah.
yeah. But
So
I also give mediumship nights, channeling nights, all kinds of goodies.
are you getting are you involved in the community in Germany, or have you not really connected there yet?
Yeah, I'm starting to connect here. It started happening the minute I hit the ground. It's like spirits like, oh, she's back. Okay, here, meet this person, meet this person, meet this person, meet this person. Turns out my neighbors currently are putting together a network as well. So they just hauled me in. So here we are.
The last year I probably learned more than I have in the rest of my life put together.
Mhm.
And my fabric, my light, everything has changed immensely. And a couple of years ago, I really just kind of dropped any other kind of dogma or specific path learning and just went to energy. And when you strip it down to energy, and everything is energy, that is the source.
Mhm.
And when energy doesn't vary. It has rules and it reacts in certain ways. And the physics of that happen every time. And if you conduct yourself in accordance with those rules, then your life just flows instead
Mhm.
of like smacking into rocks in the river. And
Mhm.
that has really changed my life immensely. And this concept is easier to understand and say than to actually put into practice. But the frequency that you emanate and where you are energetically and what you're putting out into the world, energy has no other choice but to reflect that back in a sympathetic manner. And those waves come back. And, if you're refusing to learn your lessons and you're wanting to stay stuck in your thing, then those waves just keep coming back and back and back and back and back. And, that whole frequency understanding has made every difference in every aspect of my life.
Mhm.
Have you encountered that kind of is that where you're at as well?
Yep. Yeah. I'm not one for dogma at all, at all, at all. And I feel like it's so easy to dogmatize everything. Even like if we look at the whole chakra system, and what people are taught about chakras, and they go by the book and they're like, aha, okay, so your third eye is here and your heart chakra is here, and they learn the 7 chakras and they think that's it. And then when you really dive into the Hindu systems, you realize that there are thousands of chakras,
Thousands of chakras.
thousands, and that each Hindu system has their own number of chakras, and that there never was a system with 7 chakras. I think Paramahansa Yogananda took it to North America, and it was easy to sell and easy to explain with 7 chakras. But what my point being, now all of a sudden it's dogma, and I'm like, it was meant to open your mind, not close it. Like, I don't
Well,
know.
you know, you and I go back a long way on this, and I'm a practical magician, and
Exactly.
I've
Hmm.
been, the way to really see what that is to be able to see what that is.
Hmm.
I just started doing some aura portraits. This is the first one I completed. Here, hold on, there we go. Yeah, and see, like the person that this is, that's how I saw that.
Shut the
So I
front
didn't
door.
learn that from a book or anything else.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it,
that's what I saw that. I saw that. Oh, I'm not
right?
even kidding you. I'm not even kidding you. I didn't see the markings on the inside that you drew. Those are beautiful.
Yeah, they
Yeah, those are
you know,
beautiful. But that
just
general shape, like with really long arms, long legs, long fingers, really fluid kind of being. I had a vision of that. That's
yeah.
amazing.
So, when you can see that yourself, it doesn't really matter. Like if you go outside and you see the sky's blue and somebody tells you it's green,
Mhm.
no.
Mm.
So, developing that skill is something I'm really big about, and that's part of that whole little energy workshop thing we did too.
That's amazing, Brian.
So I'm gonna
That's a workshop you did?
no, that was the thing that we did. That was one of the steps, like that class series that you and I did. This is years ago, baby. Where we were teaching the telekinetics. That was the second part of that whole energy lesson. That's the second lesson in that 4-lesson series.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean the painting, that's what I
Well, the
thought.
painting I just did,
Yeah.
actually, my friend Leah inspired me to start pushing paint around again. I've been light painting for a long time,
Mhm.
about 5 years now. And when I picked up my black fiber optics brushes and my tubes and stuff, I really stopped pushing any actual pigment around. And
Yeah.
I just dove. And what's really funny is the way I painted with pigment, like informed the way I did my light paintings. So
Mhm.
I stayed on that for about 5 years, and then Leah got me some canvases and said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, it's blank canvas. What do you think?" So I got in, dove in, and I was just really inspired to do this aura series. I've got another 4 portraits happening right now,
Beautiful.
and
Beautiful.
now that I'm like painting again with pigment, now my light painting. Now that's like what I light paint.
That's
It's
what yeah.
kind of crazy full circle. Yeah, been really,
That's amazing. But
you know,
I honestly, I've seen those shapes, I've seen those figures, and, I'm shocked because, it was so clear, and it came in meditation, and it was at the core of yeah, yeah. It was what's driving the ship.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Your light body, nobody takes that really into serious consideration,
Mhm.
and it's hard to do that if you can't really perceive it. But it's more than 50% of who you are. All
Mm.
those little dots that were on that shape, those reflect dots that are out in your second, first, third band that are your set points. And those are the way it's kind of like your software, and your
Mm.
body's your hardware. And that's
Mhm.
where those little dots were the interface of that. And
Wow.
just understanding that is like, oh my God. And the fact that you can take your color, like the second band of your aura is your
Mhm.
emotional band. So it's the brightest one because it's always getting fed, right? And so that's the color that most people see when they start to perceive you as a color.
Mhm.
You can take that color and move that with your energy to a different place. You can then look at some problem or some situation you want to evaluate from a completely different perspective.
Mhm.
And most, like almost always, I come to a different answer than I would have at this perspective. So it makes you realize that what you consider your hard and true, this is just who I am, is just really a reflection of a bunch of choices and circumstances and
Yep.
emotional content.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. A collection of coping mechanisms.
Well, I don't know that it's even coping mechanisms as much as it is like you're born into a certain circumstances. So those form little set points in there. You make
Mhm.
choices along the way. You
Yeah.
you feel really intense about stuff, and those leave all those little points. But
Mhm.
those are the random things that you chose at that moment. That doesn't mean those are permanent parts of who you are, and that any moment, every moment, you have the ability to create yourself and your
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
on with a ramble. I'm sorry. So let's
I
get to yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say? I didn't mean to cut
I
you
love
off.
her rambles.
Well, that's what we do, you and I. We've done
Yeah.
this for more
When
years.
you're not blowing out my light bulbs.
Well,
You guys, seriously,
I
seriously, we
appreciate
were having a conversation one time, and Brian was just listening, and he was just going, "Mhm, mhm, mhm," and I'm thinking, "He's focusing, like, what's he focusing? He must be listening to me." All of a sudden, my light bulb goes bang! I
bang.
thought, "What the?" Like, out of nowhere, the light bulb shattered glass all around the lamp. I thought, "Brian, seriously?"
That's the first thing Carr said
So,
to me tonight. Please don't
every
blow
time I
up my
see him now, I'm like, "Leave my light bulbs, please."
light bulb. Oh, that's too funny. That is too funny.
Yeah, yeah. We have to set up we keep saying that, but since I moved and everything and I was kinda busy, but we should do another workshop, like telekinesis workshop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And with the whole, live chat thing, and I mean, it's just gotten so like that's just the way people communicate now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And well, yeah. Um, let's jump into the communication aspect of this tonight.
Yeah, that was your
Yeah,
topic, I
the thing
think.
that we, the kind of the point of this tonight, and the title of the show was the 6 magic words, and this is the 6 magic words that, if you use them correctly, will get your point across every single time. You know, I don't know about you, but like communication these days has taken on a really strange skew. And in the world of texting, you know, that's devoid of emotional content. You don't get any body read from that. Like it's hard to really get some of the signals that you normally get from, you know, live humans with the way it is today. And speaking of which, how many people that you talk to on the internet that you do a chat with on the internet or even a human these days?
Mm.
You know, you'll laugh at this. I was just trying to figure out how to make some extra cash, and so I called the Psychic Friends Network and a bunch of those other ones that are kind of like that. There's no real live psychics anymore. They're all like AI psychic readings.
Mm.
Crazy. So,
Mm.
this, you know, what I'm going to give you tonight is going to wind up being really simple, but the best things always are. And this came from about 40 years ago when I was working in advertising agencies, and I worked for a really brilliant creative director named Bill Westbrook. And one of his things, this is pre-internet, computers, anything. This is where people just gathered this ton of information, these stacks of papers, and plopped it on your desk. So he would not let anyone in the creative department work on anything from an account executive until the account executive had filled out this form. And the most important thing on the form was the single sentence. And that's like all this crazy mountain of information about the target market and the income and blah, 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 this ton of stuff. And boil that down to the single sentence, the thing that will like really matters about whatever it is you're selling. And that proved to be really the most difficult part of every project, because it's like, how do you get it down to that single sentence? But when you whittle it down to that exact, it's like doing a sigil.
Mhm.
You know, you just whittle it down until it's at its pristine, and it's just this graphic representation of a focused intent. And that's what that single sentence did. And when that happens from a singularity like that, then the possibilities from that single point go out in all directions. So getting your message across these days in the midst of all of this is really, really super, super difficult.
Mhm.
And one of the best ways to do that is to make sure that you get heard. And the reality is that you only get undivided attention from the person that you're talking to for the first 6 words that you say. And past the first 6 words, they start formulating a response to whatever you're saying. And if
Mhm.
you're interested, they kind of stay with it. But in their mind, it's it's responding to whatever your first chunk of your sentence is. So it's always good, just like with the single sentence, that the first 6 words of whatever you say in your presentation, the first 6 words get the nut of whatever it is you're going to say. So that's why the name of this is choose your first 6 words carefully. And that right there is the nut of what, you know, we're talking about here
Wow.
tonight. And I could stop right there. Because that's the whole point of the situation. Have your first 6 words chosen carefully.
Mhm.
And then whatever happens after that, whatever elaboration you want to make, whatever direction that goes in, the nut of what you hope to communicate has its best shot of getting implanted. Not that that actually really happens all that often, but it gives it the best shot that it can. So
Mhm.
it's a really cool thing. And you can take that into like, you know, arguments.
Mhm.
You're in an argument with somebody and you're, you know, when it gets into the win lose scenario, there's never a resolution. Or if there is a resolution, there's still somebody angry, you
Mhm.
know, and when you're stuck in that circle of going around and around, identifying what everybody has done to each other, and you stay in that, you can't ever move forward to that from that. So, you know, can we find a way to move forward? 6 words. If you start with that, then you've got like a cool playing field for it to be going, and that's what you really want out of it anyway.
Mhm.
And that's the hardest, seems to be the hardest thing for people to express. What is it that you really want?
Mhm.
And that's the exercise of a simple sentence and also choosing the first 6 words. So any thoughts on communication and the way that happens?
Yeah, like so many thoughts were running through my head. First of all, it reminded me of Twitter and condensing everything into yeah,
That was the first one, Car.
yeah.
I mean, how many characters? It's like 140 or something like that.
120, I think it was, yeah.
I mean, to like condense, and so everything became just a soundbite instead of an actual thought that gets communicated.
That was my second thought. The danger of that is that people aren't free to fully express themselves, maybe, because everything becomes like so condensed, and people aren't inspired to really perceive or listen, because we're already in such a society where it's like go, 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 do, have. It's not about being, receiving, listening. But on the other hand, I totally get that that's just how we operate. We need to know what's going on within 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 6 words. Otherwise, we clink out and focus on the next thing. It is, unfortunately.
I think it's kind of designed like that. I mean, I won't go off into any conspiracy sort of things, but
No.
I think it's kind of I think it's kind of designed like that to like keep everybody's attention in a really
Focused.
short attention span theater.
But I also think you're right. It's a good exercise to exercise your willpower, right? What is it that you want? What do you want? What do you want? Straight up.
In 2 weeks, I'm going to do a show with a really old friend of mine, a really a brilliant seeker of the light himself. And he's somebody I met at the ad agency. I moved down to Miami to work with. We've stayed friends all these years. And the subject of that show is passion rules. And I wanted to do that show because I can't tell you how many people that I see in groups and we've been doing a lot of, my friend Leah and I have been doing a combination of a yoga class and a crystal bowl and Tibetan bowl sound.
Fun.
Oh man, and just really crazy. So I've had occasion to talk to a bunch of people lately, and you start talking to them and you ask, what's your passion? What do you do? And I'm dumbfounded with how many people can't answer that. So we're gonna hopefully come up with some tricks for that. I was gonna ask you any tricks for finding your passion? Like, how do you know what your passion is? How do you right?
Oh my gosh. The first thing I always go back to is childhood. Honestly, it's cliche, it's tried and true. I get it, but children are real, like either they're interested in something or they're not. So what were you interested in childhood? And then look at the essence of that, what is the feeling that you wanted to derive as a child out of what you wanted to do? So let's say you wanted to be an astronaut, right? So, okay, maybe you're, 49 now, and astronaut is probably not going to be in your cards. What do you do? What was the feeling that you wanted to experience as an astronaut? Was it newness, discovery, adventure, excitement? Was it learning something? Was it the research aspect? Like, what aspect of it was it? And then pull that out and see, where else can I get that feeling? Where else can I achieve that feeling? And that's getting you halfway there. And then, unfortunately, for most people, I've found, and this is an unpopular opinion, so, take it, you find it by doing. You have to dive in. You can't map it out all the way to the end and then realize,
thank you.
Oh, this is the goal. This is, okay, I'm safe here. You've got to take a risk. You've got to dive in. You've got to try different things, and it will reveal itself to you. And at the end of the day, it's a development, your passion. It's an unfolding, like a flower turning towards the sun, and the petals unfold because, here's more light. Okay, I'll unfold here, And it's kind of like you with your art. It's a development over years of investing your energy into something where you don't know what the end result is going to be. And a lot of people, they don't like not knowing an end result.
That's real,
they want a bottom line. They want an end result.
It's not the destination. It's not the destination when it's over.
Mhm.
It's the thrill of actually getting there, and
Yeah.
and that's kind of the sad thing for me. I mean, AI is here to stay, and we'll just get more and more and more. But
Yes.
what's happening for that is like GPT chat is writing whole things. You don't really have to think about it and come up with those concepts,
Mhm.
which sounds like, oh, that's a drudgery to do. But no, that's the joy. That's the gold in that. And
Mhm.
and the personal discoveries that I've made over the course of 50 years of being an artist have been like I couldn't imagine giving those up and just getting to an end picture.
Mhm.
It's the like that aura picture that took me a month to do.
Mhm. That
Layers
is
and
amazing.
layers and
Yeah.
layers and layers and just like living in it. And through that, I focused on that and like learned with that and grew in a way that I couldn't have possibly gone if I'd typed in, please give me a blue and orange aura
Mhm.
emanating around a blue figure.
Yeah.
Boom. And then there's 25 of them that look that way. So,
Yeah.
it makes me sad for the future of creativity. And
Mhm.
like talking about passion, I could say it in one word. Mine is create. I just want to create in
Yeah.
every direction and with everything I can come up with, my magic, my art, my light painting, all of it,
Yeah.
as long as I'm making something I haven't seen before, I am
Mhm.
a happy, 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 happy young
Yeah.
soul.
And AI is interesting because, I believe there are 2 different kinds of AI. So there's the one which is completely programmable. It's just, preferential algorithm, which is what they're all saying. Okay, yes, that's true. I do believe that. I believe that that can be absolutely supportive in the sense that it frees you up to have time to do something else. It's the natural evolution of humanity to find a technology that'll do the hard labor and hard work. It just is what it is. And unfortunately, they're starting off with playtime, so creativity, um,
It
paintings,
it's
drawings,
in
words,
everything now
it's
though,
in
Car.
everything. But then
Accounting, it doesn't
the
matter.
no, the second one, that's the one that I get the heebie-jeebies, is literally a consciousness. It's a
Right,
foreign consciousness that is trying to incarnate into into our dimensions through
right.
our bodies. And the more we connect with all these technological things, because, I had this vision with, medicine. And it was showing me how even through our food, like the food that we ingest is processed, right? So it has the vibrations of machines in them. And through that, it goes into our body, it becomes a part of our consciousness, and we literally morph over time. I know it sounds exaggerated, but the way the medicine showed it to me, it was so real. I totally got it.
Well, I think
And the
there's a
only way out
significant
of
amount
this
of science to back that up too. I mean, we're seeing it happen over generations, and I
Mhm.
mean, everything about our world now is changing us in different ways. And I as an old I was yeah, as an old guy. you
Okay,
know,
you said that.
I know I'm always resistant to change. I like the way it was, but I guess it's just the natural evolution of it. But as you
Yeah.
see things happening with all the brain implants and how
Mhm.
close they are to quantum computers, and that'll change the whole fabric of everything. And when an AI system is combined with a biological system with the computing power of a quantum computer, I don't know, that's an iffy outcome. So, there's nothing really we can do about that except just keep our energy good and our own sphere good and the
Mm.
people around us good. And
And make
but,
time for creativity because I think, the human creativity, I don't think that'll ever go out of style. It'll become more special as we go along.
well, you know what I'm doing? That's part of the reason I'm doing the painting stuff too.
Yeah.
It requires no electricity. It
Mhm.
requires nothing from the world, the electronic world at large, the crystal bowls, Tibetan bowl meditations, that requires nothing except my hand power. you
Mm.
know. So I'm moving more and more into most of the creative outlets I've had. I've been doing these crazy, hang on. Sorry, that was just way too much time. I've been doing like all my hand lettering and
Oh my God.
right.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
Amazing.
I really enjoy keeping it manual
Amazing.
as much as I can.
Yeah. I used to sketch when I was younger. I used to sketch and paint. So acrylics, watercolors. I loved watercolors. I used to have my little those diary booklets and just do little sketches here and there. But I haven't done that in years, and I've been trying to get back in, and I don't know. It's just I never find the time, or I don't know, but I need
You
to.
know,
I need to.
it's so connected to me with my energetic journey,
Mhm.
and my drawing has been a way for me to take those crazy essence, especially at the beginning. You're going, what in the world does that even begin to mean? But
Mhm.
trying to like crystallize it enough that you could do some sort of sketch representation of it seemed to really, really help me. And so now that's gotten infused in my light painting. All the light painting stuff I've been doing has been trying to like, you know, you go and you look at people and the astral, and you travel around them. That you do that in a solitary mode. You can't really
Mhm.
share that with anybody. But you see some of the most amazing things you've ever seen, and all you want to do is share that with somebody. So
Yeah.
that's what my light paintings have been about: drawing with light in the dark, and
Mhm.
using light energy to actually paint has kind of been the closest thing to that I could get to. So it's been pretty cool.
Nice.
So let's get yeah, wow, we're motoring through. Let's get to the fun part of the night here. You know, I have Karleen Love on, and you know, I think love is one of the most used words,
Mhm.
but the connection to what that really means, what does that really mean?
Mhm.
You know, so I wanted to explore that with you. Do you what how would you define Okay, let me just give you a little let me back up a little second ago. For about the last 4 or 5 months, I have been so overwhelmingly full of gratitude and joy for where I've wound up at this point in my life.
Mhm.
And my joy at without wanting anything, just a pure, unconditional sending of my love and bliss and gratitude to the source
Mhm.
has started sending reflections back that have just really blown me up. So I was sitting there thinking, actually, I had a guest on last week, Boogie Max, and he goes, "What's love?" And I started, you know, I gave him some quick
Have to
answers, but
do
then
it.
afterwards, I started thinking about that and like, what the hell is actually love?
Yeah.
What is that? How would you define what that is? I'm sending to the source. So I care to take a stab. What do you
Mm.
think? What do you think?
Yeah.
And we might this might be an onion that we wind up peeling down through lots of different layers, you know, because it's been one
Yeah,
of those questions that's been asked
yeah.
forever.
To me, well, I took the last name. It's not my actual last name. My actual last name is a hyphenated double last name. And I didn't, when I started this whole thing with going on YouTube and social media, I didn't want my last name flying through the internet. I just didn't. I didn't care that people were saying, only if you use your authentic name are you real. I'm like, no, thanks. I don't, yeah. So I took Love because it was just, it encompassed everything. I thought it was the best last name. So, but what love actually is to me, it's a consciousness. It literally is a living, breathing consciousness that we can surrender to and allow to work through us into life. And it it only accepts surrender though. Like you have to surrender to it. It doesn't accept control. So
No
it's
control, but you know what? That's the majority. I mean, when you hear how people throw that, or well, if you love me, you do.
mhm.
No.
Yeah.
Do you consider, like I did some really serious reading over the last week when I knew we were going to do this. And, like so many of the quotes are all about relationships and you and somebody
Mhm.
else and like this whole scenario.
Mhm.
But to me, I think when you break it down to, and to me, love is an energy, not an emotion.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
the
Yeah.
emotion of love is an expression of that original energy, but
Yeah.
I think just pure love has no attachments, no
No.
expectations. It doesn't demand anything. It
No.
only wants good for everything surrounding it.
And it's conscious. It's literally conscious. People think that they generate love because they feel love or what they term as love, which is actually all these other things. But
That's an
it is really a conscious consciousness that if you allow it in, it will take over situations. It will tell you what to say. It will inspire you to do things. It will inspire you not to do things. Um, it
that's
will
the
change
source.
the
Is that
energy in the
actually the
room.
source though, Car?
Sorry?
Is that actually the source? Like to me, like one of the great things of the past year has been a deepening and renewal of my
Mhm.
understanding that my own light is actually the light of the
Yes.
source.
Yes.
And that we've talked about this before about the concept of allies and the fact that
Mhm.
there's all these yous more evolved, way evolved,
Mhm.
all the way back to the source that are
Yeah.
existing in this moment. And when you realize that, you realize that every single second you're connected to that energy and to
Mhm.
that source. And that, like what you're describing right now, that's the feeling I get when I go there, and,
Yeah.
and the reflections that come back from me when I send that there.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing, that I also got through meditation was that there are levels that are beyond love, but we can't even contemplate that at this time. We can't even tap into that at all because this dimension, this planet, this frequency that we're in, that's the major source of it or the god of it, or what we're here to learn is to learn how to love. And but once we've moved through that and we're really on that level of service to other rather than service to self and all these other, tag words that describe a state of being, we move into learning other things which are beyond love but encompass love. So it's love is within that. And then it keeps going, 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 going.
Well, I love the keeps going, 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 going.
Mm.
I love, I did over the last 15 years or so, I got exposed to the concept of the simulation, right?
Mhm.
And I thought it was just a really fun concept, but kind of a joke. It's like, how could that possibly
Mhm.
be? But over the years, the more I learn, the more that filter fits over. And like as other filters fall away and go, nah, that doesn't really work. That one's still working. So make a
Mhm.
long story short, I just went, okay, well, let's take that on as like that's a reality and let's go see where that is. And I went looking for the creator,
Yeah.
like who created this simulation,
Yeah.
and I realized that all the way back to the source, infinite layers and infinite layers below us on the astral, all of our thoughts are creating actual things
Yes.
that have light in that have life in the astral.
Yeah.
So somewhere there's somebody that thought up you and I at
Yeah.
some point,
At some point.
like, and when you think about how, like, there's a popular belief that everybody's connected and energetically, ultimately, we are. But
Mhm.
at the moment in this 3D world, in this physical manifestation, we are separated from each other. And
Mhm.
there's no way, maybe the most talented psychic in the world can go into another person's mind and actually experience their universe. And in
Mhm.
their universe, every person they've talked to, every fantasy they've had, every
Mhm.
single thing they've thought up is a living thing in their universe. And
Mhm.
they're the creators. So I went looking for ours. And that was an interesting trip and the subject of another show.
No, tell me, tell me, tell me. Let me know.
Actually, I found something that tried to keep me from finding the actual creator and posed as the creator. And yeah, so I've yet to surpass that. But
Yeah.
that's where
Yeah.
that went at the moment.
Yeah.
And that whole mindset of the fact that this is all
Would that be one of the guardian at the gates
no, I don't think that's the
or
guardian
more
gate. I
further?
think that's more of a security protocol program.
Mhm.
You know, to like,
Mm.
you can't go by
You
here.
can't go by here. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the
Ah,
actual creator
yes,
that brought you
yes,
up is off limits
yes.
to you.
There the part of you that can't go by there is the mind ego, is that it?
I think if that you met the creator,
Mhm.
then that astral reality meets a physical reality wherever that creator is. And I don't think those things can stay in the same place.
Mhm.
Just this, that's my truth of the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could
Yeah. I
change
know that at the moment.
upon more information, right? It's an
Yeah.
ongoing quest and
I
search.
know that at the moment thing, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And my belief is that energy or love is absolutely that purest energy,
Mhm.
and the energy that emanates growth and goodness, like goodness, you
Mm.
know, and in every way for everything that it touches.
Mhm.
You know, and there's antimatter on the other side of that, that's dissolution as much as
Mhm.
this is growth, you
But
know.
that can be love too.
Well, yeah, but you get to make this. You get to make the choice on where you want to connect.
Yeah.
You get to choose your frequency.
Yeah.
I mean, how many, like, there's infinite frequencies to select,
Mhm.
and that's just in this dimension, 3D world. You add astral places to that, and it really is infinite.
Mhm.
So you get to choose where you go, and your passion helps you find that path, and
Ooh.
and helps you stay on the path that's keeping you to your individual selection. There's no
Right.
other path that duplicates yours. There's no other path that duplicates mine. And while we can have shared experiences and learn from each other and nurture each other along the way,
Mhm.
individually, I mean, there's no way for those things to actually connect.
No.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think your passion and the thing you really care about and calls from you inside, like,
Mhm.
if I, based on my friends' input and my bank account, I should have given up being an artist a long time ago.
Aw, no. Thank God you didn't. Like,
But
really,
I don't
no
have
way.
any choice. I do it because I
Mm.
love it and I
Yeah.
have to,
Yeah.
and that keeps you alive and keeps you
Mhm.
healthy and keeps you. I don't know about you, but when I don't have anything to look forward to, I love making stuff.
Yeah.
I'm an Aquarian. I need the undiscovered territory and the
Yeah.
surprise around the corner.
But your art is not just making stuff, it's transmitting messages. And I mean, that's what art is supposed to do, remind us of elevate our consciousness and remind us of our true source and that there's something outside of the day-to-day world, right?
That's
So,
exactly right.
yeah, that's what your art does and
So,
more, you know?
so on that subject, we're about to close it up now. But hey, Jacob,
Aw, you can't take it.
no,
You can't take
we're gonna
it.
bring up some art, my newest stuff. I really want to
Okay,
share it
good,
with
good,
you. Yeah,
good.
yeah. These are some light paintings.
Can't wait to see.
Dun, dun, dun.
Drum roll, please.
Bro, you're killing me. My earth, yeah, there we go.
Oh, that is
There we go.
gorgeous. Like, you've gotten really good now. I mean, your earlier pictures were amazing too, but this
Oh,
is like
oh,
the subtlety here.
can you
That
blow this
one's
one up,
older
Jacob?
though.
Yeah, and we don't have to go quite so fast. Yeah, there you go. Two eyes to look and one eye to see.
Mhm.
Yeah, scroll down a little bit to the inside that sphere. Yeah, look at that. You know, the whole, the thing we connected with, the reason you had the response to the decks that you
Yeah,
had.
you really connect with beings, like, I
Yeah,
couldn't believe it. I'm like,
exactly.
"Dang."
Hey,
No.
I'm doing an angel show on Monday nights,
Oh,
and
awesome.
we're going through the deck a card at a time, and as we're doing that, I've been doing light paintings for each of those cards because the
Oh,
other ones we're done with that smoke technique that I have.
yeah.
So I'm going to wind up with a really nice light painted angel deck at the end of the show. Oh yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
you're really bringing through beings, though. Are these beings on the astral or
Absolutely.
multidimensional?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there are beings in a lot of different places. Depends on where
Mm.
I want to go that night.
Uh-huh.
That's what's fun about it.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
definitely coming in saying you. Yeah, with messages. I know people that are totally creeped out by your deck, though. I'm not. I love it.
Well,
But I know other people that have ordered your cards and they're like, "Karleen, I can't." And I'm like, "I know."
not for the timid,
No.
but that's what makes them special card. I'm really proud of that deck. It's been a long time now, right? Like the tarot deck has been 12 years and the angel deck has been 10 years.
Mhm.
And what's super fun is to be able to, there's enough distance now that I can go pick that deck up and look at it like somebody else made it, and just enjoy the deck without
Yeah.
thinking about having made it or anything. And
Are you
I
planning another tarot deck or a different edition, different like
Actually,
reading?
for this show, actually, I'm doing a different oracle deck called the Just Be deck, and it's
Mhm.
going to be kind of an oracle on, just little hints for the day and energy stuff, and it's going to be connected to the I Ching and a couple of other
Mhm.
things like that. I don't know what else I would bring to the tarot. It's like I could do a light painting version of it, but I feel like that's already kind of like explored.
How do you feel about the tarot? Do you feel like it's still a relevant system, or do you think it needs an overhaul or addition to or
I love it with
expansion?
all my soul.
Mhm.
And, I think anything that's alive, magic's living. It's a
Yeah.
living, evolving thing. And, you know, I know people that are still quoting Agrippa from 500 years ago. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, bro, there've been a lot of growing since Agrippa, man. I think the tarot is always open to that. As a matter of fact, I changed some of the flows,
Yeah.
like I go to the aces first instead of the king, and there's a bunch of things. I changed the order of the cards that
Mhm.
made sense to me and made it my own. And then the other divinatory systems on that, like that, there's really nothing else like that. And I don't
Mhm.
really know what the hell else I would do to that. And there, when it, I still look at it and I don't really want to change it.
Yeah.
That would be the motivation for wanting to do another one is like if I had updates to it and I thought made it significantly better, but I haven't run across any of those yet. And what's really funny is that the angel deck and the tarot deck have like merged, like
Mhm.
they work hand in hand. And the angel deck is so much easier to use because you pull one card. And
Yeah.
those readings, the very first line, if you're really focused and you go in and you
Yeah.
get connection,
Yeah.
like the first line of the damn reading,
Yeah.
man, answers the question. And
I
you're
di
like,
I did a whole series with that deck on free will, if free will exists, because one of my viewers asked me, "Does free will exist?" So I'm like, "Hey, let's have a look," right? I believe in free will,
yeah, yeah,
but
me too.
the answers that came out of that deck, Brian, you guys have to watch those videos. It's amazing. It is amazing. Like, it really made sense. It tied together how free will does exist, but it also is a tool of the divine to,
That's
but yeah,
exactly right.
it's all
Yeah,
in. It's
that's
all in
exactly
there. It's all in the but that was yeah, working with your angel deck. Yeah.
you know the thing about the tarot system is this to get good at that takes years.
Mhm.
And lots and lots and lots of
Lots and
readings.
lots of
And
practice.
my reading is 4 elements, 3 cards, so it's like my base reading is 12 cards.
Yeah.
So understanding all of those and the art of it comes after you've done it enough that those original meanings are just a door,
Yeah.
and going through that and you start receiving all of this
Yes.
other stuff. That's where the art of that comes in, and
That's what
where
they say about art too. You got to learn the rules so you know how to break them.
everything's like that. The first 3 to 5 years of anything you do is
Yeah.
about technique. And
Yeah.
when you're like playing guitar,
Mhm.
5 years of doing scales and playing songs, and then at the end of that, you don't really have to think about your fingers anymore. You
Yeah.
just want the musical sound, and your fingers do that. And that's when it becomes art, So
Mm.
it's been a great journey, Car. I
Yes.
want to do it until the moment I close my eyes for good.
Yeah, me
But
too.
hopefully won't be for a while.
No, no, you still got a long way
Well,
to go.
my
I wanted
lovely,
to ask you something anyways.
yeah,
Do you still see the jaguar that you sent me? Remember that jaguar that you sent me and I woke
I
up
do, with
and the
the emerald
jaguar's
the emerald eyes. Yes. Yes, absolutely. That's part of
and
it.
I called you up and I'm like, "Did you, like, send me a
I
did you,
did
like"
not send that. That belonged to you, my girl. I just got to see it and pass it along. Yeah. I never send anything bad to you. I only send goodness.
Ah, okay.
I love you very much. I really, really do.
That jaguar was good though. It was good.
Yeah, the jaguar is amazing. The emerald eyes. I mean, the muscles on the jaguar, it was like a big jaguar. And the muscles on it were awesome, and the coat was awesome, but the emerald eyes were
Yeah.
beyond. Like, that was just beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still work with so much that you taught us in your courses. So I'm
Well,
like,
let's do some more. We both have a lot of learning
yes,
since we did that.
yes, yes.
Let's do
Let's
another
do
one.
it. I'm now moved. I'm in a settled place. Let's get this rolling. I'm ready to roll. Ready
I'm
to roll. Yeah.
I'm ready too. Well, listen, anybody out there that didn't hate this altogether, if you'd press that subscribe and like button, and anyone that please, if you leave a comment down on the YouTube page, it really helps our algorithm and get it out there. So if you don't mind, I would be very, 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 very grateful. So happy for everybody showing up, and really grateful for the support, and I'm beyond grateful that I got to spend the evening with you, Car, and share and catch up. We will see each other very, very soon. Any
Yes.
last words? Why don't you close us out?
Thank you guys so much for allowing me to be here with Brian. And it was fun. Brian, I love connecting with you and love your energy, love your joie de vivre, your positive outlook, your everything, your insights, your knowledge. I sincerely appreciate your friendship. So thank you.
Thanks, Car. Well, we'll see you again soon, okay? And enjoy Germany. I'll talk to you sometime later in the week, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Adios.
See you guys. See you guys next week. Chris.